We are so honored that you're here with us for Season 3.
We want to share, connect, and grow the paper flower community with you. Welcome to Paper Talk. Thank you for listening to this episode of Paper Talk. Today's episode is sponsored by our patron, Robin. We appreciate your donation, and we're excited to keep creating content for the paper flower community. If you're interested in supporting us, head on over to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/papertalk and sign up as a patron. We would love to see you there.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Paper Talk. Today, we have Sue Bowen with us, and Sue is one of our team members of our Facebook group, the Paper Talk community. We've been working with her for, a couple years now, and she's been an integral part of encouraging dialogue and engagement in our community, and we could not have grown our group or run the group without her help. So we are so thrilled to have Sue with us to talk to us about her paper flower journey. Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hi, Sue.
I'm well, and it's lovely to actually see and speak to you both. It's lovely.
It is. It's lovely to see your face. It's been so wonderful having you as part of the team that curates and generate conversations in the Paper Talk community on Facebook. It's been so lovely to see a lot of our UK friends join in conversation and how they source their paper flower supplies. Because I think that surprised me every single time when I see somebody in Europe saying, I can't find this crepe paper. It's like, but your crepe paper is made in Europe. So I'm always puzzled by that. So I'm going to hit it off with the first question is before we even start with your paper flower journey is where do you source your crepe paper?
Well, I've been using crepe paper for a long time now, so I've got my definite sources. So I go to Arlo Arts now for my doublet, and they're great, fabulous service. Great, they're just great. And then I go to Paper Floristry, which is in Ireland, and they sell the Italian crepe paper. So I get my Italian crepe paper from there, and also from Arlo Arts I get some German crepe paper as well. So they're my two main ones, and occasionally, because Leah's paper is beautiful but expensive, but if there's a special something, then I'll go and buy some Leah off Amazon. They're my main places to go. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And when you buy from Arlo Art and Paper Floristry Warehouse, I think, is it online?
They're in Ireland. They're in Northern Ireland. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still purchase it online, right? Because Arlo Art, where are they located?
Somewhere in England.
Yeah, I know. I just thought you might know. I know it's somewhere in England.
Because when you're online, you don't look at where they are, really, do you? She's up north. I'd say she's up north.
Where are you located, Sue?
I'm in Somerset and Taunton.
Wonderful.
But I'm originally from Liverpool. So you may pick up a bit of an accent. I'm not sure how strong that would be.
How did you find paper flowers? How did you start picking up this?
Oh, well, when I retired, I thought, what the heck am I going to do? And along the way of trying all different crafts, I discovered paper. And I thought, my God, paper, it's marvellous. It comes in such a variety of things and you can do so much with it. I was just blown away with it and I went berserk and I got really obsessed and the house was filled with all sorts of papers and most recycling stuff, magazines, old books, vintage maps, vintage music. I had quite a healthy little business and I sold from quite prestigious places, actually. I did really well. And one of my best sellers was a paper rose I made from vintage paper. And I think I got a download from something off the internet. I think it may have been Leah, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I played with this template and fiddled with it and I thought, well, I'll make this. And it became my best seller. And I was making 50 a month. And,
that's amazing.
On a regular, and I couldn't keep up with these flowers. And one place I sold them was Wells Cathedral, which is quite a prestigious cathedral and it's known for its music. And I made lots of things for their shop, but the music rose, sold and went all over the world, actually.
It is so wonderful.
Yeah, from that, my daughter bought me Livia's book, Livia Sette's book.
Yes.
Yeah, I never really got into tissue making flowers, but it certainly gave me the bug. And through that, and somewhere along the line, Leah Griffith in all our stories, isn't she? And I discovered crepe paper, and that was about 3-4 years ago. And I stopped making paper from everything else. I mean, I've done all the coffee filters, tissue papers, books, a lot. And that's where my crepe paper journey began. I do miss my making of book art and things, but I have no time for anything but paper flowers.
I have a question. So I know the reason why I moved over to crepe paper, but what was the thing about the crepe paper that just made you like, oh my gosh, this is the medium that I'm going to make my flowers from? Because what is your why?
Well, when I saw the rainbow of colours, I thought, oh my God, I need every one of them. So their colour was, fabulous. canvas. And then it was what you could do with it, you know? It just lent itself, it molded itself to make things look real. Whereas, you know, when you use other mediums, like let's say a book page or something, you get a flower, a beautiful flower, but you don't get the realism. So it's the realism that crepe paper gives to paper flower. Yeah. And the more, of course, I mean, my first Rose Girls was atrocious. I didn't have a clue that it could stretch, you know? So I made this rose thinking, oh God, I mustn't touch it too much. I mustn't. But now I know it's as tough as those boots. And I can do what I like with it and it'll still say, here, I'm okay. You know, but initially I was scared to death of it. And of course, there were no tutorials really around then. So I bought, did I? Jennifer Transfer. That's what I came across next. But I'm hopeless at reading, learning from text. I'm really a visual learner. So it's looking at the photograph and, you know, and then of course there was YouTube. I found YouTube. So really I just went on from there. Yeah. And then of course I found the paper communities then. Which was great, wasn't it? You know, because I thought I was just me all on my own, really. But, you know, I've still to meet a real live paper florist. Never met anyone to talk to. Horrible. So that's a wish of mine.
One day. One day. Don't worry. I think it will happen. There's also quite a lot of you in the UK. And I know you're all dispersed everywhere. UK is actually quite big. You're all dispersed a little, you know, everywhere. But I'm sure one day when Quinn and I, you know, start hosting our international workshops again and we can fly and actually travel. The UK is definitely a place that I would love to go to.
Well, I'd love
so many people to meet like you and like Rosie. And there's so many people to meet.
I'd love a network of British artists. You know, just to meet now and again. Hopefully, you never know, by the time all this is finished, people will be more inclined to say, yes, let's get together. Let's have a meet up, you know?
For sure.
It'd be great.
And saving my money so we can do that.
There's such a lot of learning, you see. There's such a lot of learning that we can give each other. And that's what I miss, really. But I do gain it from, you know, online stuff. But it's not the same as sitting down with a cup of coffee or a glass of wine.
It's not
if you're
the
so
same.
Inclined. And exchange of ideas.
Exactly.
It's
just having, it's that connection. Like you said, there's nobody in your vicinity who you can talk to about paper flowers. It's that understanding, that mutual respect for each other. I think it's missing. And online just doesn't cut it sometimes. I mean, I see you post a ton of things on our Facebook community page, which is amazing because every time you post something, it's either to ask a question that on everyone's mind, but no one's willing to ask it. Everyone has something to contribute. And I also see you're experimenting in so many different ways. Tell us a little bit about what your recent obsession has been in terms of paper flowers.
Oh my God, my obsessions. Oh, when they take hold, I'm telling you, I take no prisoners. I mean, I've got tons of crepe paper of every colour. Over the past year or so, all I've been using is white doublet mostly. And I've been practising with colour, really, you know, doing the water baths and colouring it that way, dip dyeing it and so on, and then painting it with watercolours and so on. And then I found this amazing brush out, which I'm using all the time now. You use it like a watercolour, but when it dries, the pigment holds up better because watercolour, when it dries, the shades fade, don't they? Yes. But with brush out, which is fantastic medium.
It's a UK invention.
Yes. I know, yay! Sorry, I waved my hands. Sorry. It is. And it's about 40 years ago they invented it. Yes, but it goes all over the world now. It's used in lots of places like schools and so on because it's so cheap. It's a great medium. And I've even started to paint as well now, which is fantastic. But from that, I'm now at the moment practicing with natural colours, natural dyes. And have you seen my hydrangeas that I did?
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I don't know how they're going to hold up, but
worth experimenting though, for sure.
Yeah. You're doing a bit as well of any colours?
Well, I haven't used natural colours other than tea on my crepe paper. Because like you said, there's so many mediums that you can try.
I know.
It's just the world's your oyster, pretty much.
Exactly.
But just watching other people do it as well, it's so fascinating. Seeing other people experiment and seeing their results. And obviously, even if I experiment, my results would be different. But it's just, you know, I just live vicariously through you, Sue.
The thing is, not everything, you know, works, which is fine.
Course,
you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
And maybe these colours won't hold up to light. I'm looking into ways that you can use the mordant thing. And apparently soya milk is the thing to go for. So we'll be practicing with that. But it's about making your flowers as natural as they can be, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And finding your own style and your own way. And that's what I think people who are learning need to sort of know, that they're not trying to copy that other person's flower, that the flower that they make is fine. It doesn't have to look like that flower. It's your flower and it's what you make, and it's developing how you will create something, how will you interpret that technique. And that's a,
I think a lot of people do ask about techniques, and which is great, but I always encourage people to explore on their own.
Yes,
because my answer is not the same as what your answer is going to be. And just because I don't like doing it that way, maybe that is your way of doing it because you love it and that's your style. And so I think it's a little, sometimes it's jumping the gun when you ask, is there a right way, or how do I do it properly? There's no proper way. Like you said, experimentation, I think, is where you find your style, where you find what you prefer and what you don't prefer. And to be honest, like the color fast thing, it doesn't really bother me.
No,
it doesn't.
Honestly,
bother
I
me
don't
either.
think it. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not maybe archival, but that's fine. You kind of let it be and let it inspire you.
Age and let it
inspire you. Like,
I love hydrangeas when they're going off.
Yeah.
They look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
They do. The age look.
And you can always touch them up and give them a bit of a spray if you wanted to.
Yes.
But, if it's for me, this is for me. But if they were for somebody else, maybe, I would have to say,
Yeah, you would explain it to them, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, let's face it, you get bored. I don't know about you. I end up being on board with them now. Off they go to the bin or somebody else. Even though they're forever. Even if they're forever, you get sick to death of looking at the same things. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I really like the fact that if you do get bored with a flower, think about purposely aging your flower, giving it a tea bath, or taking your black or brown or burnt sepia colors and start playing with the edges, changing it up, poking holes in the leaves and the flowers, burning
Have you seen my
it.
post today?
Oh, I have not yet.
Yes, I've done exactly the same, what you're talking about today.
Yeah.
I've used all sorts of things, and I was proud of my leaves because I put holes in and cut little notches out, and I've aged the flower. So you'll have to look at that post.
Definitely.
Which I did today.
Yes, I will.
It's exactly what you've been talking about. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. I just love our community so much. I love that the fact that our community is so sharing. We learn a tip and we're like, oh my gosh, you guys, have you tried this? Or have you done this? And it just kind of brings and carries the voice to a bigger platform. And the more people that we have doing this, the more comfortable people are on finding their own voice. And I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's the excitement of sharing, isn't it, in this community? In other communities, people are very guarded about what they do because they think, they'll do it better than me, or I'm not sharing that. But here we are so open. And I just think we all want to do well together.
Yes, definitely.
I love it.
Yeah. Me too. And I want to thank you for being such a fantastic leader in our community, for always sharing and just being you. I love every time I see a post, I got to read it. I got to do it.
Really? I don't know what influence I think, because sometimes I know the answer to my question that I'm asking. I thought, that's a good question. Not everybody will know that. So I'll pose it. And you get all these answers. And I think, oh my God, why didn't I think of that? Oh my God.
I know. I love that.
So it's worth it. It's worth it, And, about our hands, I put the hands thing on. And people really responded, and quite a few people messaged and said it was really helpful. So, hey, nothing's wasted. It's great.
Yes, come and join our community. It's called Paper Talk Community on Facebook. And we are such a loving community, and
absolutely
love to welcome you into our group.
Yeah, such great people.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Talented. I know.
I'm
gobsmacked at some of the things that appear, you know. You think, oh my God.
And it's so non-judgmental, It really is. It's just everyone's just exploring and fascinated by other people's work. And when we have questions, we share it. And I've learned so much too from the conversations, even though I'm like, I've done that, but I haven't thought about doing it that way. And even if I don't do it, it's just another idea, another way of seeing something. And it's just wonderful to see the type of experiences and knowledge that people have from just, experimenting and doing their own thing. Like you said, it's been wonderful. But I mean, Sue, you're an integral part of it, and you encourage all of our members, and you're always there. You're active. It really helps.
Good,
It really helps. So it's
Yeah.
wonderful. So Sue, what do you drink and what do you watch when you're making paper flowers?
Oh, I don't watch anything. I listen. I listen to classical music. I have the radio on, and we have a station called Classic FM. And so I put that on and I drift around the place listening while I make my flowers. And I drink oodles of cups of tea.
What is your favorite tea?
I love a good English tea, which is nice and strong and robust. But I also like a nice ginger and lemon tea, fruit tea sometimes. But I'm a British tea drinker.
Love that.
Good for you.
So what is your biggest tip that you can offer maybe a budding paper florist right now? What, besides finding their own voice, what is a good technical tip that you can share that really changed your paper flower making?
Well, the thing that changed my whole look of my paper flower making was falling in love with making foliage. Because before that, I used to just make my flowers. And I thought, oh, they're nice, they're okay, they're fat. But then when I discovered foliage and the importance of really, the foliage is just as important as the flower. So if I could say that to anybody learning now, make your flowers, hone a flower, make it beautiful, learn that flower before you move to the next one, but also put the foliage to it and enjoy making that foliage and matching that right green for that colour, because honestly, your flower will be uplifted a million times. So I suppose that's one good tip. I wish I'd have learned earlier.
That's a wonderful one.
It is.
I think so too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are intimidated by the foliage.
Yes.
I can't connect with that, to be honest, because I personally find that it's structurally not nearly as complicated as other things. But I can understand why it might be tedious, because you spent hours already on the flower and then you're like, I still have to make this green bit. Like I can kind of understand that, but no, I think your tip is fantastic. I think it does complete it. It does complete the flower.
I do. I just set up a time where today I'm just going to make foliages, and it could be a random foliage that it might be for a future bouquet or a bouquet that I'm working right now, but I just make a lot extra and have it hanging around. But the really interesting part, sometimes I will bias, glue, and cut it, but I won't cut shape the foliage to be like, well, it'd be a rose leaf or a dahlia leaf.
That's what I do, Quinn. Yeah. That's the bit I get that for. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll just leave it there. But that way, when I'm ready for my foliage, I'll just cut it and it's ready to go and color it and whatnot.
The difficult thing, I think, for people with foliage is getting the right green with the colour of the flower. Don't you think? I mean, especially with I think we're limitations in green. We do have limitations.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that's where doing your own comes in.
Yes, coloring.
Get the right green, colouring it. Brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, I would love to offer 2 tips for foliages. Chalk marker, the liquid chalk marker pen, you shake it to activate it. You can do white edging around. So if you don't want to use bleach, because sometimes bleaching is a little bit hard to control, but the chalk marker gives you more control, and it's not that hard white color, but it's almost like a white ivory color that really works for like variegated foliages. I think that's...
You had it in your posy box once, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That's when I first heard it, but I couldn't find it here in UK.
Really?
So it went,
Oh, no.
Can I write that chalk marker?
Yes,
I'll try again, because it may come up with a different... I don't get on with bleach. I forget bleach, thank you.
Yeah, so strong.
Yes.
I had to do... I did some brush-out artwork, not to do with paper, and I thought, ready with some bleach. I'm like, when I came back, the page was white. There's nothing there. So forget bleach, girl.
Yeah. And then my other tip is add color shading. It doesn't matter what art medium you use, but if you're doing a rose, add a little bit of red tint to it, or some yellow or a different shade of green, whether it's darker or light.
Yes, put a hole in it.
And then take a red marker
and edge it with brown.
Yes, exactly. That will age it and just give you a little bit more dimension. And foliages do play, it's a second role, but it helps the flower become even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Jessie, if you don't have her book yet, she has an amazing chapter on foliages. So
of course I've got her book.
Yay!
Yeah, it's inspirational. Books to me are inspirational. Like I said, I'm not very good at following the written word. I get so far and think, the blooming heck do they mean now? You know? What the heck do they mean? So I have to stare at the flower. And when I look at the flower, I can put the two together, you know, and I get by then. And there again, then it's about developing it in my way then as well, isn't it? Because I can't quite get what Jessie might be saying, but I can guess. So, yeah.
Yes.
It all comes together in the end. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But I love when I play a game with myself on our site. And before I look at whose name is on the flower, I try and guess who's done it because we all have styles.
Yeah.
Yes. I play that game too.
It's fun, isn't it? Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Yeah.
I can always guess a Jessie flower or a Kate flower.
Absolutely.
Or a Margie flower.
Yeah, I bet you can. Yeah, they stand out, don't they, in the crowd?
They do. Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. Yeah.
I've got aspiration. I will get there.
I love it. We love following you along.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Sue, for coming on to our podcast. It was such a joy having you on the team and having you on this podcast.
You're welcome. There's loads more. I could talk for England. So I'll come back.
If you guys want to hear Sue more, come and join us on the community page.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, then. All right, then. It's been nice to talk to you both.
Yes,
take care and keep safe.
Yes,
okay?
You too. Thank you.
Bye, love.
Bye.
Bye.
If you're looking for a way to support us, please hit subscribe and write us a review. We would appreciate it so much.
You can also support us as a patron on patreon.com. Your contribution would help us continue to create great content for you and the Paper Flower community.